In the early 20th century, in the days when men were expected to wear hats and ball caps were for baseball players, there were simple rules. Felt hats were expected to be worn in the winter, and straw hats in summer. The shift came to be specifically recognized as Straw Hat Day. It's not clear when Straw Hat Day originated, but a 1908 issue of the New York Times opined that straw hats should come with the strawberries. That is, it became appropriate to wear straw hats at the time that strawberries ripened. By the 1920s, Straw Hat Day in New York City was generally recognized to be May 1st. There might have been many reasons for such a rule, but one was certainly economic. Hat manufacturers need to know when to have items in stock, and Straw Hat Day is a genuine selling technique, literally a day when people were expected to buy a new hat. But there was a corresponding day in the fall, Felt Hat Day, the day that men were expected to give up their straw hats and shift to felt. By the turn of the century, that day seems to have been generally recognized as September 15th and was the genesis of a Wall Street tradition. Stockbrokers would traditionally wear their straw hats to work on the trading floor that day, and as a symbolic nod to the end of summer, at the end of the day they would throw their hats on the ground and crush them. Little loss, as because they used natural straw and were worn out in the sun, straw hats tended to last only one season. The Wall Street tradition became something of a national tradition. If a man were seen wearing his straw hat after September 15th, someone would snatch it off his head and crush it, a fate that was usually accepted good naturedly. But trouble began the evening of September 13th, 1922. Although it was 2 days before straw hats were supposed to disappear for winter, it was a particularly hot day, drawing out hordes of late season straw skimmers on the streets of Gotham. But the long, warm day also drew out hoodlums, what the New York Times described as boys and others with undeveloped minds who delight in the destruction for its own sake, on the theory that they had the right to declare open season on straw hats on other persons' heads. The paper reported scores of rowdies on the east side and other parts of the city started smashing other people's hats. The straw hat riots continued for 2 more nights, resulting in more than a dozen arrests and various injuries. The violence quieted after the night of the 15th. On the morning of the 16th, felt hats were everywhere, as New Yorkers finally accepted the end of straw hat season. Street sweepers were said to be quite busy sweeping up the remnants of smashed hats. The underlying cause of the riots is hard to determine, but it may simply have been the unseasonable weather, which brought out both straw hats and restless hoodlums.